Hello there. In the next two topics, we are going to build those two attribute views which we discussed in the previous topic. Just for a quick reminder, I'll bring them back up. So these are the two attribute views which we will build. One is called the product and one is called the customer. These are the physical tables which we'll be dealing with both these attribute views. Okay, what I've done is I have brought all these tables into the training schema and I have filtered the catalog to show only training because there are a lot of schemas and it's slightly better if you filter to what you want to see. So you can add filters from here and you can program to see only whatever you want to see. In this case, it's training. All right. So if you open the tables folder of the training schema, you will see all the required tables here. So we have Mara, MAKT, we have KNA1, T05T and 5U, and then we have the two transaction tables CE1 and CE2. Okay, let's go ahead and build one. All the information models are created inside the content folder and you can create a package for yourself. I have already a package called training here and there are some views. So for the benefit of all, let me create another package. We'll call this training Copa. And you can give a description here if you like, and you can associate this with the delivery unit. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's say okay. So you will have a package created for you. Okay, if you open the training Copa, you have no objects. So let's go ahead and create one. So you right click on it and you say new, and then you will be able to create an attribute view. So the first attribute view we want to create is called the product. So let's call it product. You can write here all the description items, like for example what tables you're going to use and things like that. And then you can associate this with the package. Since we started at the package level, it is frozen. This is going to be an attribute view. We are not copying an attribute view from anywhere, and this is going to be a standard type. Let's go ahead and create one. All right. So this is the default view of the attribute view. So a couple of things to notice. One is the scenario or the canvas where you see the two nodes. One is called semantic and one is called data foundation. And this is by default the semantics layer. So you see that the semantics is in a different color. And if I click on data foundation, you see an open area. This is called the work area. And on the right hand side of the work area, you see two panels. One is the output panel and one is the properties panel. Okay, so the two tables we need are Mara and MAKT. So there are two ways of bringing them inside. So one is you can drag and drop, or you can hover around and you will see a plus sign here, and then you can search for it. And then you choose. So these are different combinations. And in the brackets you have the schema name, so you just choose which one you want. All right, so you see that how many columns we have in Mara. So there are a lot of columns which comes with the table. Naturally, we don't want so many columns for the reporting purposes. So now we're going to filter it and we're going to project on top of the physical tables. So one thing to keep in mind is these models which you create are not heavy. So what I mean to say is they're not materialized, so they don't carry any data. They're only XML files, and when you report on top of it, that is when they actually go to the database and pick up the data. Alright, it's time to select the columns. What are the columns you need from these two tables? So what we need is, you need the client, and you can click on the yellow here. The ball, it's right now gray, but when you click on it, it becomes yellow. Or you can right click and you can say add to output. So when I do that, you see that it's adding to the output column. So this is the output structure. So if you don't see any columns here, then your output will not have anything. Okay, so we need the MANDT, we need the MATNR, and from this table we need the material description, which is this column here. And then we can add a couple of more columns called material group and industry sector. and then also material type. Alright, now let's go ahead and make the joins. So the first join you want to do is between the two mandates. So this is the client number. So the SAP system has different client numbers. To make a join, you can simply drag and drop like this, or you can right click and then you can say create join, and then you can select a column from the right table. Alright, so we have created the join here from MATNR to MATNR and then mandate to mandate. Now we need to set what kind of join this is. So let's click on the join, and you see on the top that this is Mara and this is MAKD, and this is going to be a text join. So these are different joins which are available here for you. In this case, it's going to be a text join because we need the description. The cardinality is going to be 1 to 1 because these are material tables, or in other words, these are dimension tables. And since you chose a text join, we need to give the column as a key. So we need to give the key column, which is the SPRAS. This basically tells which language and which description for which language. Alright, let's say OK, and let's go to the next join. So if when you are clicked on a specific join, this properties window will tell you about what kind of join it is, the language column and the cardinality. So it's a quick view for you. So both joins have text joins and both are columns, language columns are SPRAS. Cardinality is 1 to 1. So whenever you're dealing with dimension tables, your cardinality is always going to be 1 to 1. When you deal with a transaction table and a dimension table, then it's going to be n to 1, n towards the transaction table. Okay, wonderful. Now what we need to do is you need to go to semantics, and this is the properties page or a semantics page, if you will, and here is where you need to decide what these columns are. In this case, all of them are going to be as attributes. So this is the type of the column, and these are all attributes. You need to give a key. So in this, the keys are MANDT and MATNR. MATNR's label column is actually MAKTX. Label column is nothing but a description for that column, right? What happens is MATNR is material number, right? Nobody wants to see the material number because in the report you can't make sense of the material number. In some cases you can, but in this case you want the actual name of the material description. So that's why we are saying that the label column for this material number is the material description. Okay, wonderful. Now since we are using MAKTX as a label column, let's go ahead and hide this MAKTX table. So you can hide columns as well, otherwise it will show up 2 times. Now what we have to do is we have to validate and save first. So let's click on that. So you click on this green tick mark here, and then when you come down to the job log, it talks about the model validation, right? So let's click on that, the first one. The first one is always the recent one. So if you click on it, it talks about what happened to your validation. So currently the status is completed, and it talks about what all has happened. So these are all our warnings, so you don't have to worry about the warnings right now. And if you come down, this is what has happened at the server level. Okay, everything looks good. Now validation is only to check the model and the other artifacts, but the activation is when you actually will create an object. So you need to activate this. So you click on the next button here called save and activate. Now if you see here, it's called activation, and you click on the activation. So see, everything is fine, everything worked okay, there are no errors, and you have created an object successfully. Okay, so you must be wondering how this whole table is going to look like. For that, there is something called the data preview. So you click on data preview here, and this is the same thing as what you have on the right click called data preview. So when you click on the data preview, you will come here and you can see 3 distinct tabs. One is analysis, one is distinct values, and one is raw data. So let's go to raw data because this is the dimension table. And if you see here, you will have the mandate, you have the material number, and then you have the description of the material number as a label column. Then you have MATKL and industry group and so on. Okay, so you have successfully created a product master data.